Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Crime Scene Cleaner. And at this point, I honestly don't know where we go every night in our truck, considering we're free from our mob ties. Maybe it doesn't feel like that. If we were to have any kind of headcanon, maybe it's that we actually revisit the scenes of the crimes. Some of you were talking about how the level select screen for these things should actually be the bed, not the car, but maybe that's what we're doing. We're going out there just to look at these places from the street and falling asleep in the driver's seat. I don't know. All I know is that we've got our good boy here.
Boy.
And we're gonna have to confront these things one by one. This is such a cool add-on to this, and the fact that it's all free is even crazier because it essentially doubles or more the content of the game, considering it seems like they're actually more substantial than the levels they're based on, because they don't need to have any tether to reality. And I've also been reading your comments because I was really confused at the story it was trying to tell. And basically what you explained was that it's essentially the story of a group of workers who would have come in afterwards to either renovate or demolish the apartments, and being picked off one by the ghosts within. So in a way, it's almost like a vision of the consequences of no one knowing what happened there. Or at least that's one way to look at it. But whatever, let's get going. Oh, right after let's have a look at our skill trees. We had which one did we need? General. No cooldown of Cleaner Sense or Sixth Sense. Highlights pieces of missing furniture. Let's take that one. I think that one will probably be a lot more useful. We have so many points. Improved Bucket. You can pour 3 detergents into the bucket. Now, I don't normally use detergents. I don't really think they're that useful for something that is limited. But maybe with some upgrades we could do some more. Also, some of this is new. Unlimited number of detergent uses. Okay, well, there we go. There it is. And we might as well just take the rest of this stuff. There we are. Increases the power of detergents by 10% if there's only one type. Increases the power of detergents by 25% if they are not duplicated. Why not? Some of these are starting to get real specific, but it hardly matters now. Hey, we got an achievement for unlocking all the water upgrades. But what's next? Trial by blood. And we can see that the descriptions, I forgot to comment on it last time, are completely distorted. Now, whether that can actually be translated into something, I don't know. Based on the repeat characters, I'm guessing probably not. But all of these have the same description anyway. Delve into our shattered mind.
It'll be a long night.
Shorter if you sleep.
No reason to beat around the bush. It's a jungle out there. Deep down, we're all just wild beasts, trying to dominate others and mark our territory.
I believe in this case, this was where you took out a rival gang that was trying to move in on your business. Well, not a rival on their face. They were supposed to be someone you were working with. And that's how it presents rules of the jungle. It's all symbolic. Come on, get in there. I kind of wish it were like Viscera cleanup detail where we can scroll to place things further closer to us. Let's get it started. Oh, and it's probably a good idea in general to just always have a UV lamp out. Not only does it look really striking and nice, but it kind of makes it so that you don't have to deal with any of those small little spots that you have to come back to later. Maybe it's also a commentary on the humidity in here. Because I've only just realized we can actually hear jungle sounds. Sounds of crickets and frogs and exotic birds. Okay. That mop actually filled up pretty fast. We're gonna wanna get a water source right away. Oh my god. Right in the last moment, I forgot that these things could break and aren't just static map props. But you know, if we are going to be essentially going through this entire series again, we can't spend the entire time just talking about the nature of the work. There's even less story to work with. At least thus far. We'll probably be able to find more of these dream catchers. So we're going to have to embrace the idea of just kind of talking about whatever comes to mind. This is going to be another one of those more podcasty shows. And I don't mind doing these. These are the kind of things where I can just kind of drowsily come on and, you know, let stream of consciousness fill a video slot. That's what I've always loved about this game, and that's what I love about these games in general. I mean, I have so many of these. I was a huge fan of Viscera Cleanup Detail when it came out. I just recently got House Flipper 2, and I'm enjoying the cleaning more than the house flipping. I don't know quite where you go to begin with. Let's move in the UV light in a second. Oh, right, I'd forgotten about this thing, the Ozonator. Makes nearby stains easier to clean.
Senpai.
Okay, you. Oh, wait, is that...
Hey there.
Nope. We're gonna need to chop this down. Oh, we are honor-bound to remove any mess that may appear.
I can't help you while I'm lying down.
Okay, well... We're gonna get rid of passive-aggressive normal guy voice in a second. No, we want an anime ghost haunting the place, just like we had in the warehouse.
What do you want?
Hello.
Yeah, you.
Or you.
You just start doing your work. Come on out here.
I'm starting.
We have an
to
upgrade that
clean
minimizes the stains we leave, and it was never as bad as Viscera Cleanup Detail. Anyway, we're gonna have so much trash to pick up. Best to do it right here near the start, where we can easily dispose of it. The most difficult thing is thinking of things to talk about, because I can go off on a million and one tangents in the course of normal gameplay, but the second there's nothing to talk about, my entire brain just blanks. Hey, that's something we can talk about. I don't know how you ended up covered in blood back there. Oh, I see. You probably go with the table that we moved. You right here. Man, how did this end up all the way over here? But I guess that's half the appeal of the game, is looking at things and being like, what's... Some stories are obvious, but some of them really make you scratch your head. But anyway, the Ozonator is going to work in the background to soften up the worst of these things. Now, question is, what's going on in here? Yep. No, really, what's going on in here? Alright, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try using detergents, really for the first time since the very start of the game. I don't have the muscle memory. It slows down the rate at which water in the bucket gets stained. Okay, we don't really need that. Cleaning strength on all surfaces by 20% and on difficult surfaces by 15%. Okay, so we'll start that. We can have up to 3, right? So let's pour that in. And what are some others? Slows down the rate at which the tool gets stained. That'll probably feel better. And when you're in a protracted situation like this, feeling better is a huge deal. Increases tool resistance by 20% and cleaning area by 20%, and increases the washing surface area by 30%. Let's put that in. There we go. But wait, those things look similar. Did I accidentally not put in this one? I can't pour that in. Alright, well maybe we'll just put it in another one and try again later. Anyways, if we pick you up, you should be much better suited to deal with this right after we remove this true detective looking guy. He's wearing like a wood-carved mask. But I get the idea. They're masked as creatures in the jungle. I guess it's part of what Kowalski has always been thinking, you know, that all of this is so uncivilized, but behavior that is trying to seem so high society. Like there's so many rules and almost like gentlemen's agreements that govern the criminal underworld. But in the end, that is all they are, just animals marking their territory. They're just dishonest about it. Still, though, you do definitely feel a little bit of a difference. I mean, this stuff is going away pretty much instantly. Oh, wait, but we lose it. Yeah, no, I think this is what made me stop using detergents earlier, was realizing that you lose those detergents when you refill the bucket, right? Unless that's not the case. But if it is, yeah, that would definitely put me off if they weren't infinite. See? Smoking kills. Alright, we're still dealing with locked lockers. This one looks a little different, but can't be opened. Okay, we'll keep those in mind. Meanwhile, let's start working on this wall. We have to dip these things in the detergent, and those effects will be applied on the bottom right side of the screen. So, I guess that green circle, if it's not just like weirdly displaying, probably means that we've stacked those bonuses, right? I've just played Shipwreck 64, and I can't help but see that statue as the husk. We'll worry about the bathrooms first. Take this one at a time. Put you back where you were. Okay, so the cleaning rooms both count for 1. I think that actually threw me off the first time I played as well. You know, it's kind of weird using a series like this as entertainment, huh? Because it's basically a trope in media at this point, the idea of the janitor who is oblivious to everything around them because they're just listening to music as they work. Meanwhile, I, in playing this cleaning game, am a lot of people's podcast. Yeah, that extra 20% goes a long way. And you're full up. I'm using tab too much. I think it's because I've been playing House Flipper. But okay, we now have an opportunity to remake this the way we want it. So let's choose our concoction. Slows down the rate at which bucket? No. What we want is pure. Resistance. Oh no, that is right. It just doesn't show the same symbol as what's on here, leading to confusion. And you. See, it's really difficult to think of topics like off the top of my head, because another thing is that I have to try and avoid talking about like media and movies and stuff, because it would be really annoying to have things get spoiled for you here of all places. You're wearing like a bird skull. We've still got the elevator music.
No need to thank me.
But the weird thing about this is that while the other one had kind of a creepy ambiance, this one almost has no ambiance at all. We're just sort of working in near silence. Let's bring you over. Wow, this might actually be a job for the power washer. Really, more things in general could stand to use this. Imagine if we could use detergent with this. I don't know, I've really come to love these cleaning games because I have so many games. I made a list recently in Steam, a whole folder of all the games I haven't even launched, like things that I bought and never played. Because I just grab things when they're on sale, because who knows when they'll be on sale again. And it came out to like 80 games or something like that, and that's not even counting the ones that I intend to play for the channel. And I'm never going to be able to play all those things, but I've really come to appreciate games that I can play while in a Discord call. The kind of thing that I can just zone out in and not have to worry about missing story or anything like that. Like, I was playing through Metal Gear Solid 5, that's taking, forever just because of not being able to have the time. And I very quickly found that's not something that can be played in call. At least not while making the most of it. Oh my, look at how fast that is. Great for speedrunning. It was never really a priority before, but certainly useful. Especially on the larger maps. Yep, let's just go ahead and sweep all that stuff away like it's a broom.
I miss you.
Well, at least we have some sound here. Oh my god. I have noticed an annoying tendency to hit these things through the wall. We might as well have as many of these things as possible out here, right?
Don't leave me alone.
I won't. Have I heard that line before? Well, have I understood it before is the real question. Yeah, so I'm struggling to think of things to talk about, so the first thing that comes to mind is something that I've intended to talk about on the channel for a while. So I was thinking for a long time of doing a series where it would just be like just little stories I would tell about like stuff that's happened while doing Urbex. And I eventually realized, like, yeah, there's not really going to be a whole lot to talk about. Like, I could do the whole thing in one video, and there wouldn't be that much to it. But there's this one that, like, I think about all the time, where this was about, like, 10 years ago, and I was with a friend, and we were exploring this one place that was really easy. Basically, it was the storage warehouse for... Are you kidding me? I just curled that thing into the vase. But it was basically a storage warehouse for the local psych hospital. And there was nothing really too spooky about it. It was very open and accessible, out of the way. It was extremely easy to do. In other words, it was the thing you do when all your other plans fall through. When you just kind of want the Urbex experience, but like, you just want to walk around in the tutorial level a little bit. And so we go in there, and we're walking around and just kind of taking it in. And we hear a car coming. And this is a big warehouse, so there's multiple floors, there's big open spaces, and there's open doors on either side of these things. So in certain rooms, it's actually quite visible inside from all over, every angle. And so when we hear a car coming, we're like, okay, we gotta go just hide somewhere. And this is standard procedure, you hear a car coming, you stop, you look out the window, and you see what the situation is. And we're expecting to see, like, a police car or security or something like that roll by. We're used to waiting for that. But what actually happened was we saw a regular little car just come slowly rolling around. And that was unnerving. That was real unnerving, because we're thinking, is this like an unmarked police car or something? Why aren't they driving as if it's a normal patrol? Why are they slowly rolling by? Because that tells us, okay, they're looking in the windows, they're looking in the doors. So, you're kind of in an awkward situation there where you know that they're probably not going to come in. In most cases, they won't go into the building. They'll wait for you outside and grab you there. Especially if they're not sure if someone's in there. And the reason this puts you in an awkward position is because, yes, they're probably not going to come in, but now you can't come out, and you can't do anything until they leave. And the whole time, you're kind of going through in your own mind, like, do they know we're here? Like, did somebody call us in? Did they see us? But in this case, it had the extra element of, but that's not a police car. That's not Parks Police. That's not, like, anything we can identify. So that's kind of weird right off the bat. Now, necessary context. this was very shortly after, not this place, but a different closed down former psych hospital, or not former, it actually still has buildings open. But an abandoned building on the periphery of that was actually a gang dump site. Like, they actually found a body there and tied it to a gang. And so that was in our head while all this was happening. So, not that our mind necessarily went straight there, but it was a consideration. And what happened next made this even more complicated for us because, like I said, this building, especially on the main warehouse floor, was very open, with like big bay doors just wide open on either side, not to mention all the windows. And so somebody's gonna see us if they pass at the right angle. We can stay hidden for as long as we want, but if they're not police, maybe they will come in. And if they're coming in, who knows who they are. So we keep thinking like, okay, we would rather be outside. Because if they don't see us leaving, there's not a ton they can do to us if they're cops. And if they're not, I'd rather be in the open. So we start looking for an exit strategy that kind of satisfies both conditions. And I'm thinking, okay, well look, it being open means they're a lot more likely to see us at some point, but that also means that we can just wait for them to be on the other side and then go out our own way. We can choose our exit. So we wait for this car to pass by the door that we were standing closest to, and then we start making our way to the door on the opposite end of the building, thinking it's going to take this guy a lot longer to move around at his pace than it is for us to get there. So we start moving, it only takes us a few seconds to reach it, and as we're going by the door, we hear the rumble of an engine. And so we back away, immediately get to a hiding spot where they're not going to see us as they pass by. And I'm thinking, there's no way this guy got all the way around already. And then another car, a little mini SUV, comes rolling by, doing the same thing. And so what we realize then is there's just two cars, totally unmarked, no anything to make it seem like it's any official organization, just slowly circling the building like vultures on opposite ends. And so now we're like, there's no way that we're getting out of here without being seen. But more to the point, this is potentially really bad. So now we're starting to try and figure out, like, okay, what's our, like, exit strategy? We're trying to think of anything. Does this building have tunnel access? Does it, like, is there a window we can get out of? And it's, like, not looking good. And so we're just inside waiting for a long time. We're just biding our time, trying to figure out what the best move is. And eventually we realize, like, okay, they haven't passed by in a little while. So we move over to one of the windows, and we're looking out, and we see both cars are parked in the parking lot, and there's a bunch of people coming out. And it's this one, like, older guy, and just a bunch of, like, you know, guys and girls in their 20s or whatever, and we kind of breathe a sigh of relief when we realize they're removing some camera equipment from the car. So eventually we're like, okay, we're not going to get out without being seen, but it's really only, like, police and security that you have to worry about seeing you leaving the building. If just a person sees you, even if they're a busybody and decide to call it in, they're really, like, you're going to be out of there by the time anything shows up, if anything shows up based on that. So we just kind of decided to walk over and introduce ourselves. And we had a pretty nice conversation. You know, it turns out that they were a college group who was coming by, hadn't really been there, but was scouting the place out to just do some photography. And so, you know, sometimes things work out. You meet some cool people doing stuff like this. But I guess the takeaway is that in urban exploration, when you're doing something that you know you're not supposed to, and that anyone there is also doing something they're not supposed to, or is there to bust you doing something you're not supposed to, it leads to this interesting, like, Hunt for Red October dynamic anytime you know there's somebody around, where it's just kind of feeling each other out and not acknowledging each other's presence until you have enough confidence to kind of make a move. But you're waiting to see who's going to make that move first. Re-detergent you up. I am so glad we have infinite detergent now. I just used the mop for 2 seconds on its own, and I realized how big of a difference all this makes. It's actually crazy. Let's bring this thing back up. That's the cool thing in Urbex, is that you don't hope to run into people, because people can mean trouble, and you never know how it's going to go. And not to mention, if a place is super well traveled, it's not that interesting of an Urbex location. But I have run into people a handful of times, and just about every time has been a memorable interaction. I mean, you know, you're dealing with somebody that's somewhat like-minded as a default, I guess, at least when it goes positively. Like, one of the first times I encountered someone else in a building was actually very indirect, because we were approaching this huge place for the first time. It's actually, we explored it on the channel. It's September or the geriatric ward are some of the ways you might find it. And as we were approaching, we looked up and we just saw the silhouette of somebody peeking over the edge of the roof, and they pretty much immediately went back. And, you know, we were super stoked. I was still new to all this at the time, and I was very, very excited to be exploring someplace so big. But it was already getting dark, the sun was going down, and I knew we couldn't stay for long. What kind of mask are you wearing? It's like some kind of tribal mask. But anyways, it was getting dark, we knew we couldn't stay for a long time. But we wanted to see as much as we could, and after a while, we started hearing footsteps on the floors above us, and we knew it had to be the person that we had seen. And I don't remember who started it, but at some point, somebody just cried out, "Ooh," like, you know, all wobbly like a ghost. And whichever of us didn't start it responded in kind. And so for the whole rest of the time we were there, we just kind of haunted each other from different floors. And every time it would happen, it was like sonar pings. Every time it would happen, we would hear each other's movement. That the person was now in a different part of the building relative to us. And I don't know, it's just one of those weird encounters that happened in the void. We didn't meet them, didn't see what they looked like, didn't learn their name. But I guess it's kind of a memory we both share. I wonder if they talk about it. Probably not, but it's interesting to think about where they are now. Okay, I think in order to make efficient use of this, we're going to need to start using multiple buckets, all filled with detergent.
Don't leave me alone.
Playing House Flipper has ruined me on this because I'm using tab way too much when before I had been using the superior num buttons. Okay, so there's you, and there's... no, come on. I just played this game the other day, and House Flipper has already made me out of practice. One, two, three, and one, two,
Notice me, senpai.
three. Alright, let's bring you guys out there. Did I screw this one up? I think I screwed this one up. Whatever. Oddly enough, it's the garbage more than the blood that makes this so intimidating. Because the garbage is what makes it feel truly cluttered, that makes it feel like it's going to be a lot of work to clean this space out. So maybe it would be a good idea to grab that first, for as unintuitive as it is.
I miss you.
I don't know, perception really is the thing that makes a job like this feel so intimidating, so it's important to not really worry about the end goal. And that's true for a lot of things in life, I've found. You have to be content with the task, not just keeping the eye on the prize. I'm not even quite sure how all that blood managed to make its way to the ceiling. Okay, let's try and move this mop adjacent to where all the blood is. Or else we're gonna have a whole lot more trash to clean up. There we go. rest of this can more or less stay. Now, pressure washer would be a good fit for the ceiling. There we go. Oh yeah, it's so satisfying to just watch it melt away. Have a huge mess just disappear before your very eyes. It's like an infomercial in that way, except it actually works as advertised. Has anyone ever dialed those 800 numbers in order to buy something from those 2000s infomercials? Like, did they ever make a single sale that way? I'm guessing old people mostly.
All nice and sparkly.
Ah, yes, these keys are still here. Oh, there's glass on this thing. Was that the case before? Or was it all supposed to be shattered and broken? I never knew this wasn't just an open pool. There's our sixth sense. So you can go right there. Alright, yeah, no, this is supremely useful. And I'm pretty sure it didn't exist before. I think it might have been added by this update. So there are things beyond just the challenge missions. I just can't believe, like, this game is not expensive to begin with. And for what it is, there's a lot of effort and a lot of content, and there's even more now. Like, this is a free update that's effectively more than doubled the content of the game. I can't stress enough how insane that is. Huh, I'm hearing music from inside. Look at that, the back room, previously the hidden inner sanctum, has become like a Mesoamerican tomb chamber. Okay, well, as the tiles get darker, that's definitely the cue to bring up the UV lamps. It says collect evidence 4. We haven't actually seen if there's any projected story here. So is it possible then that each of these is going to get itself across in different ways? That first level definitely made a strong first impression, that's for sure. Wow, yeah, this one's having a real hard time coming out, and it's probably, at least in part, due to my choices of detergents. Yep, big time. That errant one is costing me big. Although the surface does seem a little tougher in general. Oh wait, no, let's, what am I doing? Let's go get some of that detergent for our sponges. The almighty sponge becomes almightier. Although, I just realized something. Using detergents with different tools can kind of yield different effects, can it? Like a wider scrub area would probably be a lot more useful for the sponge than it would for the mops, right? Another of these. I am really curious what we're going to be finding inside these lockers in a nightmare version of this level.
There we go.
It actually seems like this one is a bit less extensive than before, and, you know, it makes sense. It's a smaller map. But even still... Criminal Investigation Department. There's a SWAT badge.
Won't budge.
Does this represent your anxiety of maybe the walls closing in? Speaking of the walls closing in, wow. You are essentially buried alive, like the lockers themselves are shelves in catacombs. You don't even have a crazy animal mask. You must be so embarrassed. Where does this go? Over here? There we are. And there we are. Ooh. Look at that, we're actually letting the steam out. It's stuff like this, you know? It's such an attention to detail in this game, when it very easily could have probably found some success on its premise alone. Between the detergents and the ozonator, this really did some work. So, once again, we have to have foresight. We have to place this thing where we're going to be. So let's just put you down in here-ish. Don't fall over.
Time for cleaning.
You know, I found a lot of crazy things while exploring, and that is just sort of the path my brain is on right now. But oddly enough, like, my favorite find ever, it's not the X-ray machine, it's not the tanning beds, it's an original Space Jam blanket found in a hospital of all places, like a medical hospital. Oh, that and those 90s solo cups with that design, you know the one I mean. The sort of blue and purple ones that look like waves. I don't know, maybe it's just because the 90s are when I was a kid, but I really am nostalgic for 90s design. Come on. I feel like there was just more style then. Like, I don't know why. Fast food places, all public places really, they just all feel like office buildings now. In the 90s, everything was brightly colored plastic. And yeah, that was kind of, I guess, tacky all its own. But it was something. There's just no architecture in buildings anymore. Like, look at this. This is an interesting place to hang out. You've got these curved walls, pillars, glass windows that look out onto other parts of a larger room. This place is beautiful. Not everything needs to be made out of boxes. And I get that it's cheaper to make, it's probably easier to make it safer. But, like, look at a building from the 1800s, the early 1900s, and there's just so much more character to it. And it's not just the aging. It's because somebody put in the effort to make it look good. Wet Jim. I don't want to meet Wet Jim. Big Jim was bad enough. Okay. Before we worry about this, let's get you out of here, Bone Skull. Oh, hey, there's a keycard I just realized in the hands of that statue. See, being a taxi service as well as a cleaner pays off sometimes. That's MO5. A murder weapon. For all your lobotomizing needs. Still, we've been seeing evidence everywhere, but I've yet to actually find any. I know that there's a bunch in the back room. Wait. I just remembered, wasn't there a hidden room over here? Yes. I had completely forgotten about it. It's not so hidden. Even less so. Well, we don't need to drain the cool. I had completely forgotten about this place. We're nowhere close to done yet. Imagine having steam rise up off of the coals as we spray. I guess we're not that advanced, nor do we really need to be. But it is satisfying. To me, the most satisfying part of games like this in Viscera Cleanup Detail, especially things where you can track blood and stuff, is when the whole floor is just a swamp and you start making yourself a path. I don't know, there's something that satisfies the infrastructure building part of my brain, the fact that you're making things easier for yourself as you're doing the job. So you're back. We're going to want one of these chairs for you. Did I just see another stain on the ground? No. Where's that other chair, then? Well, look, we can move you guys back into place. I like moving you guys as I go because I really dislike having to do the most boring parts of this right at the very end. Okay, so that's that. And you are you. There is a dream catcher. That was strange. And one more subtle detail that I think is kind of cool is how everything, every sound effect has kind of an echo to it in Nightmare mode. Look at that. In this case, there's not even anyone in there, just the remnants. It's as if someone burned, but without a body. And that's kinda even creepier than when there was a charred corpse in there. But maybe you can shed some light?
When the moon is full, our tribe is out for blood. Feast with us. I'll eat her down to the bone.
Don't leave me alone.
That is so cool. So in keeping with the Mesoamerican themes, you're treating these tanning beds as if they're almost a sacrificial altar or a spit roast by cannibals. I love how in this Nightmare version, it's not just telling a new story on the same map, it's like a logical connection of ideas. Things that you may not have thought of in the first place, but that sort of make sense if you think about it.
Notice me, senpai.
Bloody handprints surrounding the moon, as if they worship it. All done under some moon god's gaze. Okay, there's Women's 24. If you're gonna be moving back and forth, you should always be carrying something. There you are. Goat skull. Actually, a lot of these are just open from the get-go. But there are still keys to be found. I'm just trying to take inventory of what still needs to get done. You're the one that we screwed up, so we might as well refill you right now. And we can also, we can take this opportunity to look for evidence in there while we bring the ozonator over here. Let's bag you up. Just toss that in the right direction. Do future me a solid. Huh, you just drop that right on the ground.
Let's get rid of that.
No, those were the cannibals. This is the sacrificial altar. I think I remember commenting something to that effect, that that's what this seemed like the first time around. Well, now they're cashing in on it. Although, given your skull helm, you almost seem more like a leader. I guess dead meat is dead meat, however you look at it, huh? According to this, there's still trash, like a lot of trash, to be found in the changing rooms. You've traveled a long way from home, haven't you? There we go. Alright, let's get the ozonator. Place you right about here.
I'm starting
Start-
to clean up.
Doing your thing. Oh, hey, look, there's another key. This is male 34.
I'm still dealing with
Containing women's 18. Kind of feels like I'm on a scavenger hunt, doesn't it? And it seems I am. Another music box. In keeping with the stereotype of the janitor listening to his Walkman while he works, I'm also really impressed with another side of this game that I haven't talked about very much, and that's that music is very much a part of it. As a reward and incentive, and as a means to keep going. There was a wide variety of music from a variety of artists in this game. But these music boxes, in Nightmare Mode in particular, seem like they're a more somber, more honest reflection of how he actually feels about these things. Maybe the regular music was enough to keep him distracted while he played. Or rather, while he worked. Oh, come on, give me that. How are you doing? 73%, not bad. By the time I'm ready, you'll be done.
Won't budge.
Won't budge. So we've got to find a key then. Question is, where would a key be hidden? We've still got a couple places to look. We're not anywhere near done yet. There's still evidence here. So this is the relaxation zone. There's still blood, too. No, not a key! Look at that. That is such a cool way to guide us to this. Oh no, I'm stuck. This kind of feels like something bad would happen when I touch this altar.
Take the blade. To join our tribe, you must be ready to sacrifice everything.
Yes, my master.
It wasn't just a sacrifice, it was ritual suicide. Doesn't that just sum up the criminal underworld? Promising great rewards, but what good are they if you're dead? It defeats its own purpose, and yet so many choose to do it. In the end, we only got out because we were distanced from the animals in the jungle. But everyone else met a bad end, except Big Jim, because he was the biggest and baddest, but even he didn't get away with it. Alright, well, we found most of the evidence that's here. There's still things we're missing. And I can't quite tell what. Let's bring you over. We put you back. There's not really a great way to do that, because you guys have a tendency to teeter, and your own momentum tends to get you to fall, because it doesn't tend to stop wobbling on its own. Right. The mop should be more than sufficient for this. We don't need to risk in an area with so many fragile things using the power washer, at least not until it comes time to do the ceiling. Yep, that's what I thought. The blood basin, where the heart would be placed. What happened to that? Wait, what happened to that thing? There we go. Excuse me? That's the most annoying one yet. Alright, well, I guess we don't care about breaking things. Is there anything actually on you? Not that I can see. But we have found another key card. See you back here. And just remove the rest of this. Women's 42. You know, when you play that sound before you start talking, it makes me feel like I did something wrong. It sounds like a Sims failure noise. Look at that. We actually can't complete the level until we find you. Makes you wonder what happened in the first place, but yeah. There it is. See, it's these little quality of life features that let you know that somebody really thought about this. Like, if you go to use something from your inventory but you don't have it, it'll immediately highlight where it actually is. I mean, my opinion of a game always goes way up when I'm playing it, and there's some convenience feature where I'm just like, somebody thought of this, you know? Somebody made suggestions during testing, and those suggestions were taken. Okay, there's still some blood in here somewhere. Not to mention a piece of evidence.
I offer this body to the Wicked One.
Your spirit animal is awake now. Time to grow up.
I can't get up. Help me, senpai.
Thank you, Ozometer, or whatever you're called.
All hail the Wicked One.
The vibe of these Ghost Visions in particular actually kind of reminds me a lot of Alan Wake 2.
Let's make it.
And it's not just because there's somebody wearing a deer skull. Where's this blood, though? Oh, there's still a bit more up there. We need you for this. Alright.
Don't leave me
Traded the
alone.
cooldown. More hand smears along the portraits. Come on. We're so close. But I just can't see where this blood is. Let's look around a little more. There's still something somewhere. Ah, here we go. It's this stuff. kind of thing that is easy to miss, but makes all the difference. Were we actually going to be investigated? Yep, right there as well. That's so much harder when everything's covered in vines, huh? But there's still... yeah, it's all these things. All these little traces. But as I say, the devil is in the details. And over here. I would suspect that this is probably where a majority of what remains in this room is. Nope. Not even close. Well, I guess while we're at it, we may as well start working on that back room. These two vases are just placed here to taunt me, aren't they? Knowing that I'm going to be moving back and forth through here a lot. Never mind. Wow, that was much easier than expected. Men's 14. And little symbolic figures. Actually replacing the keyboard, mouse, and monitor. I see that now. That's funny. I forgot about things. I feel that. Announcing your flaws while giving a peace sign to the camera. I feel that. Have we just fixed something? Well, we floated the ducks. That's kind of neat. But I don't know that it really helps us. So, we've got all the blood in this area. We just need to get rid of you. There's still a lot of trash around, apparently. And we need to move back some piece of furniture. Which is actually the perfect job for our sixth sense. Provided we can find what we're looking for. Yes, okay, so we need... what we need is something to go here. Right? Wait, what? Are you not correctly on the... oh, I see. That's where you were hiding. You're not supposed to be there. We need to figure out where you go. Alright, so where are other tables hidden? There's one right here, and one right here. I would have been looking for this forever. Men's 14. There's all that trash we were looking for? Not sure why it's our problem. There we go, we got 103% of the trash, somehow. We could probably win a Russian election for Janitor of the Year. But we're still missing a piece of furniture. Is it you? There we go. I think that's everything. Now we just go around and get all our stuff back. Tell you what, I really like this game, and we'll play it by ear as we go. I'm in no way setting a hard rule. But in the original series of this, I mainly tried to do like 2 levels per video. And maybe we won't do that here. Maybe we'll just do 1. And I'll release these, not even counting as an upload slot, just kind of supplementary on days when series come out. That way we can come back to this over and over again, and hey, the playlist is the playlist. I'm always paranoid in that last moment, but I'm pretty sure we got everything perfectly. Who knows, there may still be secrets. At a certain point, we gotta go for it. Good stuff. I love how it emphasizes the fact that we made no money. And we get the Fisherman's Special. Oh, that's something that I forgot to talk about. We got the lead pipe as a reward for the first one. That's why I was confused about it. The Fisherman's Special we get for this. What do those actually mean? Welcome back to the land of the living. Maybe the implication is that we also dreamed the getting into the car and all. But I like the idea that we're nodding off while revisiting these places, even though we know we shouldn't. These things hang on our wall almost as certificates representing each of those horrible memories that are each somebody else's nightmare. But they all have the common denominator, the common factor of us. And we're the only one who knows. That's got to be the thing that weighs on him the most. I mean, imagine if something had happened to his daughter and he had no idea. Okay, so... Oh, right. They added skins! I didn't even realize that until after I had played the first part. But yeah. There's actual skins for our tools. All these things are currently locked. We can probably get some of those from doing the challenge missions. We can replace our thing with a metal pipe, even a gun. I wonder if it actually functions as a gun or if it just looks like one. So what is the Fisherman? Fisherman Special. Okay, I'm really curious. Let's put that in. I wonder if we can swap that out in mid-gameplay. They have made this so much more replayable. Managed to add incentives even for those who have already beaten the game. I was wondering if there would be like an overarching second story between the nightmare versions of these levels, but I think what they're actually doing here is even better. It's taking a completely different approach to the nightmare version of each one, and the only thing that unites it is the fact that it essentially brings out what Kowalski was thinking of as he was going through these, the comparisons that he made. Those fleeting thoughts made the true story.
Sorry,
Well,
Dexter.
you know how it is.
There's
We
no
gotta
time
pet
for a
Dexter before
walk.
we end this. I'll probably be putting these up like pretty frequently. Like this and One-Eyed Liko are probably just gonna be like a shorter parallel set of series. But we're definitely seeing this through to the end because you guys like it, I like it, and I can always come back and record some more. And if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. If you want to try this game out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one.